Well, hey everyone, Mac, Wendy, Judy, and Tim here, and we want to welcome you all to our 5-element Cycle to Wellness autumn event. You know, as always, we're going to talk a little bit about Sunrider food, so I just want to remind everybody that none of the information provided in this presentation is intended to represent a diagnosis or cure of any illness or disease. Now that we've got the legalities out of the way, let me talk to you a little bit for any new people watching this presentation that don't have a familiarity with Sunrider. Sunrider's been around for 40 years. That's stability, folks. Many companies in this industry come and go. Sunrider's been around for over 40 years, and what we're going to talk about in the next few minutes will show you that Sunrider's going to be around for a long time in the future. Sunrider operates in over 50 countries around the world, allowing all of us as IBOs, no matter what rank, to sponsor internationally and build a global business if that's what we choose to do. Sunrider 100% handles internally all of the research, development, and manufacturing of all of our products and foods. That, again, is very unusual in this industry, folks. Most companies simply turn their recipes over to a third party and say, make my products, and they have no control over the research, development, or manufacturing. For us, that includes over 400 of the world's finest health, wellness, and beauty products. Everything from whole food nutritionals to cleansing beverages to weight management, sports and fitness, green household, and all natural skincare and cosmetics. And if you ever wondered if this was the right time, I got to assure you it is. The wellness in the beauty industry was just recently represented to be a $7 trillion industry worldwide. So again, folks, if you're wondering if this is the right place at the right time, absolutely it is. Now, this next picture is our new facilities in Texas. And I just want to take a second and talk a little bit about something that I'm sure has been on everyone's mind, okay, over these past few months here in North America. And that's the fact that we've had some products that have been unavailable to us. The reason behind that is Sunrider has moved its manufacturing from Los Angeles to Midlothian, Texas, I should say, and have invested millions of dollars in a brand new 1 million square foot facility that will be our future for the next 40 years and beyond. In terms of products, I was involved in a meeting this last week, and I just want to share with everybody that the meeting was with Sunny, with Eric, and the plant manager of the new facility, and they were giving a specific leadership group kind of an update on where things stand. And I just want to assure everybody that capsule products have been and are being produced. I think we're seeing a lot of those coming back in our back order status now. And in terms of availability, we're seeing some certain flavors of Fortune Delight and New Plus come back, which is great in terms of our nourish side of things. I do know that liquids, some of our favorites, Evergreen, Sun Nectar, Sunny Dew, Sunny Fresh, etc., all of the liquid products. The liquid fill line is beginning to happen right now in early November. So our expectation is we'll see those particular products towards the end of this month or the 1st of December. Overall, everybody, I just want you to know that, again, Sunrider is producing and doing everything they possibly can, working extra shifts, hiring other people, etc., to make sure that they get our products produced for us as soon as possible and back on the shelves. There's a couple of other things I just wanted to share with you guys, and that is choices that Sunrider has made. You guys got to understand, Sunrider chose to continue to stay as a self-manufacturer. They could have easily turned over manufacturing to a third party like I talked about before. That did not happen. Again, Sunrider has invested millions of dollars to build this new facility for our future. The other thing Sunrider could have stopped is they could have stopped doing GMP production. You guys have heard me talk many times on previous calls about the fact that Sunrider produces the higher pharmaceutical grade GMP standard. That's something Sunrider has chosen to continue. They did not have to do that, folks, okay? There's many other great things happening with Sunrider that again, are so super positive. Things like no rank requirements now to sponsor internationally. We can all grow our businesses around the world as we choose to without any rank requirements, as long as we're an IBO in Sunrider. There are no more IBO renewal or subscription fees. All we have to do as an IBO now is purchase either $200 every 6 months or $400 in products a year. I don't know about you guys, but that's easy. That's a month for me, okay? So I'm always my own best customer. So that's really positive. We have a great fast start to fast cash program for new IBOs coming in that will allow them, simply by sharing their passion for Sunrider, to earn bigger income and bonuses right up front as they begin their journey with Sunrider. We have a very robust preferred customer program for folks that don't want to be involved in the business and simply consume our foods. We can drop them into our preferred customer program. Look, another great thing is I see it certainly. We're heading in and talking about today, the fall, the autumn, okay, and some of the Sunrider foods that will benefit us during the season. We're heading into the holidays. And the great thing is Sunrider has focused on those particular products for us. It's great to see things like Conco and Alpha 20C back in stock now, Smart Gummies, Action Cap Fit, things that will help us to be promoting during the season and during the holidays. Last comments on this. For me, as I look at all of this, and believe me, folks, no one more than me has felt some of the pain over the last few months in terms of the lack of products that we've had. However, I want to assure you, based on physically being in Dallas, based on talking to Sonny and Eric and the plant manager, based on getting feedback from the field, what I'm feeling more than anything right now is optimism for the future and an anticipation for what we're going to have available for us over this next couple of months going into 2023. So with that said, if I may, I'd like to turn this over to Judy to talk to us a little bit about the season and the metal element.
Thanks, Mac. That was great news. I'm excited. I can't wait to get Evergreen and Electrosport. I've been out without for quite a while now, so that's great news. So I think everyone's aware we're well into the fall season or autumn, whichever you refer to it as, and it's traditionally the time of harvest. Now, most of us aren't in farm country, but still harvest is felt in a way because it's a time to bring all our efforts kind of to a close or completion, in other words. And oftentimes, like in a harvest, we let a few side things go that aren't important because we're getting ready, so to speak, for winter. And some areas it's more temperate and not as extreme, but all of us need to kind of follow that cycle because it helps us in other areas of our life as well. So as you see on the wheel, previously we had a short time of the late summer, but moved right into fall. And this is a transition time. In fact, it took two whole systems, two whole wheels, all these organs included to get us ready for winter. So we don't want to downplay at all the need to be ready for going through this time. Just like spring is a transition, and traditionally when people have more allergies, oftentimes people moving from fall into winter have more allergies, more problems, more imbalances. And so we're going to take just a quick look and see why. Perhaps the two major organs involved are the lungs and the large intestines, and they're on the same meridian. Who knew? So the old time remedy, which my grandmother knew, was if there's a stuffy nose and a plug upstairs, you remove the plug downstairs, so to speak. And so that is the first line of defense, is to be sure everything's running smoothly, because all this congestion at the top, if it can't drop down and be gotten rid of, it takes much longer to get well if you're having an imbalance. So they're very closely related. And it's kind of fascinating because who knew, right? And the metal element is just what it says, metal. And it's interesting because remember, previously we were in the earth element. And where do we get metal from? But the earth. So now we're moving forward. And metal is what makes us shine. It makes us brilliant, and it inspires. So very important. And you might also think of metal as a type of armor, so to speak. You think of a picture of a knight. He has that metal, solid metal all across his chest, mainly his, torso. But then what does he also carry often? A metal shield, metal, because it's strong, it's defense. So that makes sense. We're defending our important area, our breath, where we breathe. The lungs grab the air, the energy from the air, bring it into our bodies, life-saving, life-promoting, life-sustaining. And then the meridian actually ends at the nose. And that's where we take air in And so important. And the nose is actually part of this cycle. And so we know when we have a stuffy nose, but how important it is to breathe correctly. And we'll have more on that later. And the exciting thing is that when there's an imbalance in these two important areas of the body, there are things that we can do to balance that out. So what would an imbalance look like? Well, coughing, sneezing, wheezing, that type of thing. We're all familiar with that. But the emotion tied up as well in the metal element is grief and sadness. Now, that doesn't mean those are natural emotions. We're talking about imbalance if we grieve too long, if we're sad all the time. Or how about someone who can't express grief or sadness? It's there, it's all choked in, but they can't express it and balance it out. So that's an imbalance. Now, in the past, occasionally I have given a bottle of Conco rather than flowers when someone is grieving, because I think I was raised to be practical. And this is a very practical gift. This is one of the 5 systems. You know, we understand that we feed all the systems on a daily basis with quinary or some form of the 5, whether powder or capsules, but Conco specifically feeds the lungs. It also has an effect, one of the herbs in here has an effect on circulation. We want to get that oxygen everywhere. Oxygen is life-saving and healing. So this is available, as Mac mentioned. Then for the large intestines, the food that will bring that into balance and help are slim caps. Now, slim caps are, that will unplug the system, definitely, but it does other things too. It feeds and it cleanses both some other eliminatory organs like the liver and spleen. It helps with a fatty buildup, such as in too much cholesterol and things like that, if there's an imbalance. So this is very helpful as well. And when we're talking about the lungs, as Mac mentioned, sun breeze, sunny days, these both help sinus, help people who can't, you know, when your nose is stuffy. And then we have the gummies, the smart gummies for helping with fiber, helping with the fiber content of the large intestines to keep everything moving smoothly. Now, another organ that's affected by these 2 major ones is the tissue, and that is the skin. I kind of always thought of the skin as being associated more with the kidneys, but skin obviously has a lot, is the manifestation, the condition of the skin of the condition there. So an imbalance might be skin rashes, eczema, anything going awry with the skin. Also, on our skin, we have body hair, and body hair is very affected by these 2. So that could be an excess, or some people that don't have any hair on their body. That's an imbalance as well. So very fascinating. So these are the concentrated foods that Sunrider provides us with, and it's so nice to take extra of Conco during this time and keep something on hand. Golden seal is also highly recommended. We have our Chinese golden seal, and I believe that's still available because I've gotten all mine on back order. So you want extra on hand for that. Now, in addition, we can support our concentrated foods with our table foods. And when we look at our table food slide, we see, oh, looks glorious. And you've probably noticed we've moved from our thin skin squash into our thicker skin, like acorn and butternut. Those that are hard to cut through, but so delicious when you do. And then pumpkin is in everything. I mean, that's how you know fall is here, pumpkin spice and pumpkin everything, because it's so delightful. So the root vegetables have pulled that, again, all the minerals, the cell salts from the earth, and they've brought it up. And so that's why we want to focus on many things that are roots, like turnips, parsnips. Nuts and seeds are fabulous at this time of year because they have a little bit more of the good fat. And it's a time that we can put on. We need to get that inside. That's warming as we head into winter. So definitely include that. And garlic, absolutely. And skip all the deodorized kind or these supplements that don't have the smell. The smell is what fixes everything. So keep the garlic. It's good for everything from high blood pressure to purifying the blood, to killing viruses, bacteria, worms. So garlic is in. And so just be sure everyone eats it and no one will mind. So it's a very safe a route to go. Now, another thing you can do is include color therapy during this time, and white is the color of autumn. It's kind of interesting, white for the metal element. And so some of the things that are white are listed here: turnips, parsnips, pears. So suddenly those are more appealing than maybe they were spring or summer. I have a new love for pears. I don't know. It's not that I ever disliked them, but now they just seem delicious and such a treat mixed in with, like I like mine with mixed in with the beets or all sorts of ways. So kind of listen to what your taste buds are telling you a little bit, if it's the natural whole food variety. So all of this is helpful. And the more we combine our Sunrider foods and support them with our table foods, we can really find balance. Now, Wendy, you've had good success when we were without some things and managing to get all these things in. So would you like to share with us some ideas?
Yeah, sure. So I have so missed my favorite products, especially the Sun Bars, the Simply Herbs New Plus, the Slim Caps, the Liquid 5. So to compensate, I started mixing my Alpha 20C powder with Fortune Delight and drinking that first thing in the morning, since I didn't have the capsules. And it's fine with stevia. I bought the New Plus Original and found I really liked it, and I added it to my pancake mix. Now, to compensate for the high fiber Sun Bars and Slim Caps that I've been missing, I bought gluten-free chickpea garbanzo bean flour. It's very high in fiber. It helps to detoxify the digestive tract. It's high in protein, potassium, magnesium, B vitamins, iron. It's like a perfect food. And I make pancakes and flatbread from it. And if you'd like, I can repost my recipe on the 5 Element Facebook page. And also I like to add New Plus or Protein Plus to make it even more nutritious. Since I didn't have Lifestream or Conco until just now, I have been jumping daily on my mini trampoline to move the lymph and circulation along. And may I just say that I am absolutely delighted that we are getting our much beloved products back. And I'm excited about the new face palette and the lip colors that are coming. And who knows what we might win on the 12th. So Tim, how have you enjoyed the season?
Been enjoying the season. It's been a quick transition here in Canada. Thank you. Well done. All sorts of great ideas there for us to keep in mind while we're taking care of these systems and during the metal element. And autumn always with the metal element, that makes me think about conductivity, which metal is also good for our electronics and everything. If we didn't have metal, we wouldn't be operating, but also the electronics in our body, from our brain and through our nervous system, through the vagus nerve, and everywhere else into our entire body, every single message. And here's a really cool thing to think about, is that for every square centimeter on your body, you have 250,000 receptors from your nervous system. And every one of those has a circuitry right back to the central nervous system and brain and heart. Pretty amazing, like some incredible engineering. So yeah, I feel pretty good about the season. I may not be feeling good about how quickly it got cold here, but I'm feeling good about it. The whole idea is to embrace it and get into it. And usually by the end of winter, I'm missing it and I don't want summer to come. It's hilarious how we adapt. It's all about adaptability, right? So a little bit about metal and the associated systems are large intestine, lungs, and some excellent descriptions there of what they're all about. But one thing I'm going to focus on is just the lungs. But of course, the lungs and large intestine are the two largest elimination organs in the body, within the body, that is. And when we breathe well, we also encourage when we breathe well, and something we study in martial arts is you actually can massage your organs by having full and deep breathing. And this is something I wanted to share with you right now. So we're going to take you through a little breathing technique. I share with my clients, and that's something I do regularly. And you could do it standing up, sitting down, but it's nice to have a nice spinal alignment, a thoughtful alignment. And it's also helpful to just think of your breath mindfully, and think about how miraculous it is. Now, without the next one, we don't last long. And I like to, as my mentors have shared with me, is to think about breath defined as love, because again, without the next one, we don't last long. And so the gift that it's giving us. So with a full inhale of breath, yes, we get all that magnificent, incredible, magical action, and it's an instantaneous transfer into our circulatory system. And the other thing that happens, as soon as a lot of us tend to think of breathing as just inhaling, not saying or gonna make any assumptions, but just generally speaking, when we go to a physician, the physician says breathe, and most people go and they breathe in, but not unless you go for a volume test at the kinesiology lab. They're the ones who will tell you to exhale and see how much volume you're able to create. And what we're trying to do is just help improve the volume of our lungs, our respiratory, and we're also doing with exhales. We're also trying to optimize the elimination in with our lungs, because every exhale is putting out all the poison, all the toxicity that's been gathered up from every cell in our entire body and eliminated through our breath. It's out of sight and out of mind, so we don't think about it. But it is, we're poison to us, but food for the plants. My plants love my breath. I breathe on them every day. And so with that in mind, we're going to think, and the other thing that happens with full exhalation is we will pick up a lot of the heavy metals and the things that are in the atmosphere that tend to sit in the lower 5% of our 5-10% of our lungs. And when we exhale very deeply, we can eliminate that little bit of gaseous heavy stuff that tends to stay with us. If we're shallow, we tend to be a shallow breather versus being a mindful breather. So here it is. It's just a full exhale. First of all, finding a nice comfortable position sitting. And you guys don't have to do this. It's all right. But you can do it later, that's for sure. But just sitting comfortably, and again, having a nice spinal alignment, thinking about that crown chakra, or that crown of your head just being pulled towards the sky. And you can do this standing up. I do this while I'm in the bank sometimes, or standing in any line. I could even be voting for all of you voters yesterday in the United States. Anyway, so full alignment, and you're just going to have a nice full exhale. And what we're doing is we're not just exercising the lungs, we're doing a full diaphragmatic breath, and we're actually working the diaphragm. We never think of that muscle, but it's a big muscle that looks like half of an umbrella on the inside of behind all of our other organs. And so what we're doing is we're going to contract that diaphragm so that it can do its maximum and optimum work. And when we exercise that range of motion and expand a little bit every day, we don't have to do it all at once. We'll tend to make our range of breath that much more efficient and full. So every exhale, that's putting out that much more toxicity that we wouldn't maybe have done otherwise. So if we happen to run, this is just a chance where we can use it, and then I'll get right into it. But where it really comes in handy is when you have any discomfort at all, and that's usually a signal to our body. The dashboard of our mind, our heart, our gut is letting us know, hey, something's not right, because we don't feel good. And what we can, one of our first and most powerful responses is to find your breath. Okay, something's wrong. I got to start eliminating toxicity right away. Maybe I've been shallow breathing and focusing on some work that I'm doing, and I haven't been paying attention, and all of a sudden, nope. So I usually set my alarm, actually, not every day, but I have set it so many times that I usually once an hour I take some mindful breathing. and to make sure that I'm exhaling as optimally and getting as much nourishment from the first and most important nourishment we put in our body all the time, and being able to eliminate optimally so that I can receive that nourishment for the next breath. And so it's just a nice full exhale with a nice spinal alignment. And you exhale a little more than you would otherwise. In fact, when you get good at this, you exhale a lot more. And at the very bottom of that breath, you hold it. And you hold it with an open throat, not to contract your throat. Leave it open so you can still breathe if you wanted to, but you're feeling the contraction of your rectus abdominis and your diaphragm, all those, and all your core muscles around here. And one of the other neat things that happens when you do a strong exhale is it tends to make your back want to have a tendency to want to straighten up. And it strengthens all those core muscles that keep you aligned. And I love it. It's a lovely place. And it's like, oh, that's better. Down here doesn't feel as good as up here. Make it smooth. So nice full exhale. You hold it for a couple of seconds on the bottom. And then with that exhale and that extra air we pushed out, we've created a vacuum. And what you can do now is actually not try to inhale. Just let go. And what happens is that vacuum you've created has now just created the first half of your breath effortlessly. And we call it kind of backward breathing. Instead of trying to get breath, push it out, and then surrender. And it fills back up again automatically. It's pretty cool, actually. So actually breathing could be easy. And then once that has come here, you can fill up your tank. And belly breathe if you can. Initiate that from your dantian, from your belly button, and to let, so it can just, so it wants, like a baby would breathe. If you ever watch babies breathe, their little dantians just going up and down, so nice. It's just magical to watch, and it's just nature at its best, and I'm in awe of it all the time. And we can still bring out the baby and the authenticity within us, dude, when we do this. So fill up your tank and do the same thing at the top. Now that you've created pressure in here, your lungs are full. Hold it for a second or two. 1, 2, and then now surrender once again. Don't try to breathe out. And that first half of that exhale is effortless. And then once you got to that place where the pressure's gone, push it out again. So it kind of looks like this. So I'll always start with, somebody says to me, breathe this way. I never start with an inhale. Start with an exhale. Clear. And there you have it. It's a very simple technique to do. What I recommend is to get into it is, no, don't try to do it too much at one time. Don't try to like push everything all out. Push out a little more, and try to, every day that you visit this, you do a little bit more each time. And it gets a little bit easier. And after a few weeks, all of a sudden, like, what's funny, I was blowing on a fire the other day, and someone was going, I was like, oh, and I get in there and went, fire just went up in flames. It was so much fun. And it made me think about Conco and Sunrider and my exercise and my practice. Oh, thank you so much. And to be able to have that freedom, not to mention when you can breathe like that, think about how you can transmit all that lovely nourishment out, and including all of the other table foods and the combination of all the nourishments and Sunrider, of course, with the 5-element theory in mind, to be able to help us be our best. And especially when it comes to working out, man, it's the best, because it kind of like, it's like a little workout unto itself. And you could be sitting on a plane, you could be anywhere, and you could be doing full diaphragmatic breathing. And when you get into this, you can really beef it up if you want. You can sometimes you get into maybe practicing it like 4 breaths a minute. And then what I like to get to is about 2 breaths a minute, where you're exhaling for 15, inhaling for 15, exhaling for 15, inhaling for 15, and holding. And that's really, and then it'll feel so efficient, but you can exhale so much, it'll surprise you. Anyway, that's my little take on breath, and I hope that can help out some folks out there. It's really easy to do. And for some other valuable information, Mac, where you can find some of this information, Mac, maybe you can lead us toward the destination that'll help us out.
I will do my best, Tim. But first of all, I want to thank Judy for a great explanation of the season, metal element, how it impacts our body, etc. Wendy, I love some of your substitution within the Sunrider realm, as well as table foods and what you've found that can help you during this period of time when we haven't had everything we wanted. And Tim, man, couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we all are energetic vibrational beings, and that's the way you started that out. And I love the active breathing exercise. Like you, through the martial arts and yoga classes earlier on, I was taught to breathe through the diaphragm as well. But it does amaze me. And you said it. We get busy, we get focused on other things, and I lose track of that proper breathing technique. So thank you so much for that explanation. And again, I hope everybody watching can actually try that. 2 breaths a minute, huh? Boy, that what I'm going to have to work on. So thank you for that, though. But what a great reminder to breathe through the diaphragm. Wonderful stuff. Thanks, you guys. I just want to, before we kind of bring the call to a close, I just want to remind everybody that, again, we do have this very active Facebook page, 5 Elements Cycle to Wellness. Okay. For those of you that are already on the page, great. For those of you that are seeing this for the first time, or as you know, people that might be interested in looking at some of this data, seeing some of the things we're going to be posting about, again, very safe environment, private group. No one's critical of anybody else. We're just all sharing and helping each other through the seasons. So I encourage you all to be part of this group with us. Want to encourage you all to be posting, to be commenting, to be sharing as well. And again, it's not a requirement, certainly, but we want to encourage everybody to do that, because the more we're all participating together, the more we're sharing and we're helping each other. So that's really what we'd like to do here. One of the things that we're going to try to do as leaders through this next 6 weeks period of time as we transition through this autumn season is, again, post regularly to the site, where we'll have little video clips, ideally from those within our groups around the Sunrider world, that are sharing a little bit about their take on the season, what they're doing to substitute products, how they're getting through this period of time themselves. So again, folks, very important. Just want you to keep doing what you're doing. Keep eating your Sunrider foods. Consider some of these great seasonal foods that Judy was able to share with us. And again, just remember, we're all in this together, to support and to be there for each other. Couple of things. Again, I mentioned the Facebook page. There's the logo that you can be looking for. Again, it's called 5 Elements Cycle to Wellness. It is a private group. So again, reach out to your upline, reach out to one of us. If you're interested in joining, if you're not there already, and we'll make sure you get an invitation. I know I said it, but I'm just going to repeat it again because it is so important. We will be posting videos, seasonal content regularly to the site, and we really hope everyone will participate with us in that particular process, because again, folks, the more we share with each other, the better we all do. The other thing that we just want to promote to everybody is coming up here on Saturday, November 12th, and hopefully you're all seeing this before that date. We have our North American Country Summit. If you haven't registered, please do, because you will need to register. It's free, by the way, but there is a registration link. You'll receive the link then to the actual event. And by registering, you'll also be able to participate to win the special prizes that they're going to be offering in their raffles and so forth during the presentation. Again, it's a 2-hour investment on Saturday, November 12th. The timing is 10 to 12 Pacific time, if I'm not mistaken. So look at where you are in the world and adjust accordingly, okay? But that should sure be fun. Panel, any last comments for everybody before we close this down? Anything you guys would like to say or add to this call?
You guys are great.
Well, I enjoyed it, and I hope everyone will take part on the page, because we learn from each other. Even new people bring fresh eyes to and new thoughts of how to combine, and more seasoned one, they can lend their knowledge and expertise, but we all learn from each other. So there's several pages we can be involved with, but this is our group's page. And so our flavor is more about health, wellness, recipes, the things that for daily health for all of us. So I hope you'll join it.
And I'm excited about learning how to breathe properly.
Boy.
All right. Exhale all those toxins, right, Tim?
Hey, last little thing. In through the nose, out through the mouth, just like Judy was saying earlier. Highly
Good.
that it's not, doesn't matter, but that's how important. Anyway, everything, such great information, you guys. Thanks so much for sharing, and may everybody out there enjoy this season and thrive in it.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everyone that's watching this as a recording. Again, we look forward to seeing you all on the Facebook page, and again, sharing wonderful information about the season and what's going on with Sunrider. So until next time, thank you, everybody.
Bye.